Okay. Hi everybody, thank you for watching the replay, and really quick intro. My name is Lisa and I am about to teach some yoga for some football moves, and we've got this little sheet. I'll show you really quick and I'll explain this to you as well. Here's our little sheet. Oh, you can screenshot it if you want. I'll put it up on the blog, boxedge.org, later. But you're just going to be listening along and learning some yoga while I teach Branson here. So we're just going to leave it probably... Nope, we need it up right. Alright, we'll leave it right like that. So hopefully you can hear me and see me. You can do whatever you want to do. Learn some football yoga. Okay, so this sheet starts right here with what is called Nadi Shodhana. So we're going to do not only like yoga postures today, but we're also going to do some breathing techniques and also some like hand postures. I think you'll find it really funny because the one at the very end of this line is the one that you probably don't want to have a Baconator in your stomach for. So if we get there, we're just going to skip it for today, but I'll explain it if we get there. We'll probably get through this first red line to the 20 yard, is that right? Yard? I obviously have not watched football in a really long time. So first, let's start with the breath. So Nadi Shodhana. You can stand or sit, whatever you want to do, and what it's going to do is it's going to balance your energy. So we're going to be breathing in one side of our body, breathing out the other side of our body, then breathing in the same side of the body, and then breathing out. Does that make sense? At least that concept?
Kinda.
Okay, so what you're going to do, actually you can sit on your mat, and then I'll
Which
sit
one
right
am I?
here.
Oh, that one?
You're on the blue one. Luckily you have pants, and so the sand won't matter as much. And I'm just going to sit cross-legged, but you can sit however you want. Actually, I'm not going to sit cross-legged because it's so uncomfortable on my hips. And what you're going to do is you can make either like this symbol with your hand, or, hold on, or you can put your two fingers on your forehead and use your thumb and your pinky. Whichever one you want to do.
Hang loose.
Hang loose. Okay, we're going to do hang loose version. So your thumb is going to be on your right nostril and your pinky will be on your left nostril. Pretty much we're going to be hanging loose with our fingers on our nostrils. You can put it on the hole or you can just close your nose. So, get that ready. Your other hand is just going to be resting on your other knee. So if that's uncomfortable, sit with your legs out because you look like it's straining you. So that way you can really breathe fine. Okay, so put your thumb onto your right nostril. What we're going to do is we're going to breathe in 7 counts with the left nostril. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Plug the left, breathe out through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pause. Breathe in with the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Switch. Breathe out through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 more rounds. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Switch. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe in with the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Switch. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not going to call this last one. You got it? Breathe in. Switch. Switch. Okay. So it should balance you, and I picked this one for us to start because I know that it's springtime and you might start to get stuffy. And in football, I'm sure that it's really important to be able to breathe.
Oh, yeah.
So if you ever feel like your head's like blocked up, then just do that so that it gets everything flowing. And obviously, if you had like half of your head blocked up and you're trying to run and catch a football, you're going to be off balance. So that's going to help your balance, your breathing, everything. Do you have any questions about that? Okay, so that's called Nadi Shodhana. Or you could just call it like hang loose breathing and I'll know what you're talking about. Okay, so now we're going to start some of the poses, and I took the sun salutation B and we're going to start with that. So all of these crazy like red line plays is a standard warm-up cycle called sun salutation B. Your mom wanted me to make sure that you're learning some of the terms too and not just the postures, so she'll know that one. You can say, I know sun salutation B now. So I'm just going to put this under here so I don't block it. And I don't do this one as common, so if you hear me pause, it's just because I normally do A. But for what we're doing this for, it's going to be useful for you to do B. Now if you have, so since you have your blocks, next time, I only have one block for myself actually, but if you have two same size shoe boxes, then it will be easier, but just know like we're probably going to put them like this way since they seem to be almost the same height. Okay. But if we had any that were the same height like this way, I'm just going to show this so that you can see also, then it's going to help you balance. But for right now, actually, oh look, that's pretty even. We'll do that instead. We're going to put two blocks at the front of your mat, and you are going to stand at the front of your mat. So stand a little bit, yeah, right there is good. Alright, so as you're standing there, you're just going to plant your feet into the ground. You're going to think of your heels pressing through the ground, and then you're going to think of the balls of your feet pressing through the ground. Rather than digging your toes into the ground like I like to do, try to press open your feet so that you know you're balanced and not just kind of hanging on with your claws. As you're pressing through there, look down and see if your feet are spread out or spread in, or if they're straight. The outsides of your feet, if you have regular feet, are going to be parallel to each other. So I look at the inside line and make sure that they are making like an equal sign. Move. Yes, that one's good. Cool. Okay. Now that your feet are even and they are underneath your hips directly, you're just going to release your arms back, stand up nice and straight, pulling your head through the sky. Arms and shoulders are back and down, and this is your first yoga position. It's called mountain pose.
And just like this?
Yeah. Okay, so we can reach our arms up, and when we reach our arms up, we're going to breathe in and think of digging our feet down into the ground, but raising our hands all the way to the heavens. So breathe in and up. And keep the shoulders down, but lift the arms. Good. So if your shoulders start to try to touch your ears, push them down. Good. Okay, and this whole time, everything we do, we're going to be breathing through our nose. So you can keep your mouth closed the whole time and you should be able to accomplish it. Okay. This is, so we are going from mountain, and we are going, sorry, bring them back down. Now we're going to go to chair. This is the part that I don't normally do. So we're going to go to chair pose. From mountain, we're going to act like we're sitting in a chair that's invisible behind us. So you're going to keep your knees over your feet, not past your feet, and then slowly fold at the hips, and then raise the arms in front of you for the beginning. So breathe in and sit. Good. So really keep your hips pointing down towards the floor. Sit your chest up, flat back, Good. Arms out. Good. Do you feel this in your legs? Okay, so this is breathe in, and then we're going to fold forward with a flat back on the breathe out. Now you can hold your thighs if it's pretty tight, because I know your hamstrings are probably pretty tight. And slowly walk it. You can grab your blocks at this point. So you can put your hands on there. Your back is completely flat. Make sure that your hips are staying over your heels. So lean forward a little bit more with your hips. Yeah, you're probably feeling that in your hamstrings a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And do you feel how your back is hunching? Mm-hmm. Bring it straight.
Like that?
Yes. Even a little bit more. It's still hunching a little bit back here. And you may just need it higher. So let's do this. Since this is such a giant box, go up on that until your back is completely straight and you're just working on hinging at your hips. Cool. It's hard to not let our backs just like fall out, and I've done it for years, but if you can get in the habit right away to keep it flat, it'll be a lot easier and make it do more work for you without you having to do so much work. Okay, so this is forward fold, so eventually you're going to have a flat back and you'll be touching the ground. So let's just come up for a second. So far we have mountain. Go to mountain. Mountain. And then you're going to sit into chair, breathing in. And then as you breathe out, fold into forward fold. Flat back, very nice. After this, you would bring it up and breathe in with a flat back. It would be touching your thighs if you can. Good. So this is breathe in. And then we're going to go to chaturanga, which is a tricep push-up pretty much. So we're going to put our hands on the ground. You can bend your knees if you would like. So you put your hands on the ground, because we're about to go like into a plank.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so hands are shoulder width apart. Step it back into a plank-like position. As you get into that plank-like position, put your knees down just for this first one. And then tricep push-up down to the ground. Yeah, the block is a little bit in the way. Nice. Okay. Then uncurl your toes, and we're just going to do a cobra. So you're going to lift your chest and breathe in, pulling your lower back, barely arching first. If it's tight right there, stop where you're tight. Is that where it's tight? Or you can go up. Okay, I didn't know how tight your back was. Okay, so cobra. This is breathing in, and you should be feeling like your chest is spreading out super wide, like you're puffing up your pecs. Feel how your shoulders are a little bit close together. See if you can. There you go. So breathing in. Now come back down. Tuck your toes back under. You're going to first come up onto your knees into a table position, so we're really understanding this, and then we're going to go into down dog. So you're just lifting your knees, pressing in through your toes, pointing your tailbone to the sky, extending your arms out above your head. Look at your thumbs. Good. See if you can straighten the arms. Good. Stay there. Okay, spread your feet slightly so that they're hip width apart, a little bit less. Good. Yeah, and you see how your arms want to go really wide? Try to bring them in a little bit so they're shoulder width apart. Good. And then open up to where your butt is facing like the top of a triangle. Open them up more. Yeah. Is that tight? Okay, good. Go ahead and come down. I feel like we need to breathe. Good. So I understand that tightness. I have it there too. So that one's going to be a good one for you. Okay. So we were in downward dog. So on downward dog, it's going to be common. So what I'm seeing is the arms want to go out here, because chances are, do you do push-ups like this?
I do them both ways.
Okay.
I gotta start
doing
like
tricep.
weightlifting. Yeah, I gotta like bring my elbows in.
Yes.
'Cause
Okay,
never-
good. So this yoga, so it's called chaturanga. It is a tricep push-up. So you'll be doing them with this every time. And every time you pretty much go into that position in any of the yoga stuff, I would not do out. It's always going to be in. So it'll become easier for you. And that will help it where when you try to go into downward dog, it doesn't like try to splay out anyways. It'll just know, oh, I'm going to be going there next anyways, so I might as well be set up for that. Okay. That was the main thing I saw in there. And then for whenever you're going up, it's going to feel like you're at the highest peak that you possibly can. I want you to like just tilt the butt up a little by bending the knees, and then it'll let you kind of like sink down rather than it all coming from your arms. So by bending the legs, it'll help you lower the head and the shoulders so that it'll tilt the butt up in the air. So do one more downward facing dog. You can do it from the cobra, or so we were in cobra, and then we tucked our toes under, and then first time around we're just going to come up onto our knees, and then you don't even need to scoot in. So you want to have it the same distance out as where your plank was. It'll be like the perfect position. And then up on your knees, and then push, 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 opening the shoulders. Good, good. You can bend the knees a little bit, so you're gonna, yep, and then you're gonna sink your chest towards the ground. Don't look up, look just at your thumbs. Oops, that was my knee. So bending the knees, and you're gonna send your body backwards a little bit. Yeah, that's where I want you to be going. Eventually your arms will go over your head, and you'll just be like a perfect triangle. Now, from here, we are going to do a warrior one. So, we are going to just step our foot in, and then see if you can wiggle it to where you would normally do a lunge. Okay? You're going to twist the back foot 45-degree angle. Toes point out, so rather than in. Yes, there you go. Walk it up. And then sink down. Okay, so back foot is 45-degree angle out. Your front foot is facing straight forward. Your hips are forward. This is too far out, so I gotta step it in a little bit. Your knee is gonna be directly over your ankle. So bend the knee, yep, okay. You're going to be sitting down into this position. You will feel it stretching a little bit in the front and on the top, okay. You can put your arms out to the side so that you can balance, and then or you can put them on your hips. Okay, so sink in here. Make sure that you're not super arching. I don't think you are, but let me just look. No, you're good. Pull your body up in towards the sky, so you're trying to stand up nice and tall. Shoulders are relaxed, and feeling it in that back leg. Now, try to make sure that the hips are squared. So right now, they're a little bit uneven. We want to push them in with each other so that both hips are pointing light bulbs straight ahead. Yes. Now sink the front knee down a little bit. Good. Good. Okay. This is where the crazy play comes in. So we're in Warrior 1. We're going to go back to Chaturanga from here. So you're going to press your hands onto the floor. You can totally take a knee if you need to the first time so that you can put your hands on the floor. And then Chaturanga goes from a plank down with the feet into a cobra, breathing in, allowing the shoulders down. Bring your hands out a little bit so that you can relax your shoulders. Good. Cobra. Then what's next?
The chatter something. Chaturanga.
Oh, we just did Chaturanga to Cobra, so now we're going to go to Dog.
Okay.
And this time, if you want, instead of going on your knees, since we're a little bit warmed up, you can skip the knees and go down, fix your hands, flip your toes, push the butt up first. Yeah. Into your downward facing dog. Bending the knees to get a really nice line. Yeah, it's looking more open that time. Cool. Okay. So downward facing dog is a breath out. Then we're going back into warrior one, this time with the other leg. So walk the other leg forward into like a lunge. I'm teaching you this so that you can do a flow, but obviously, like if you ever got stuck, you can just stand up and go into a lunge. Okay? Flip the back foot out about 45 degrees. Slowly walk it up. This is like super deep for me. Okay, so you can always come closer if it's too deep. The knee goes over the ankle. Dig with the balls of the feet instead of the toes. 45-degree angle with the back foot. Good. Your heels should be about in a line. So make sure your front foot isn't like in line with your back toes. Like that would probably not even happen, but just in case, yeah. All right. Where are the hips?
That way.
Going forward. Good. Bending the knee over the ankle, not arching, just pulling up nice and tall. Pretty much extending the front of this leg. I understand you're probably feeling it on here too, but are you feeling it pull up through this hip at all?
Like right through here?
Yeah. Okay. And then both knees are facing forward. Good. Now you can bring your arms out and lift the arms up. Just breathe a couple times. Letting it just kind of sink in. You don't have to push yourself in this stuff. It'll just start to loosen up naturally. And then, what are we going down to from here?
The cobra.
The chaturanga to cobra. Yes. So, hands down. Blank it out. Chaturanga. Cool. Okay. From that, we're going back to the downward facing dog, and then we're gonna I'm trying to put it into football terms, and it's kind of funny, but so far we have ran down the line, then we reversed and went to chaturanga and went back down the line for the second line, and then we went back to chaturanga, and then we went down the line, and we're going to stop at downward facing dog. Now, after we get to downward facing dog, it's like we had an interception, and that flips back to a flat back, so downward facing dog to a flat back, and then up this line to mountain. Does that make any sense?
Kind of.
A little? Okay, I think as we do it, you'll kind of know it anyways, but then I tried making it where you would have a chart just in case. So any straight lines, it's like you're doing all of them, and then if it's got this curve, it's like skip, skip, land at this guy, and then run it down the line. Okay, so we're in cobra. We're going to go up to downward facing dog. So downward facing dog, breathe out. And now we're just going to walk our feet up towards our hands. You can grab your block if you need. We're going to straighten our back into a flat line. You can keep your knees slightly bent if it's tough on the hamstring. Make sure to check your feet that they're pointing straight. Yeah, there you go. Flat back. And we're just reversing what we did in the beginning. Take the hunch out of the very center. Yes. Now, in the beginning, we did this after we did forward fold. So now we're going back reverse, forward fold. You can use your block if you need, just feeling it loosen up in the hamstrings. And then where did we start after forward fold? We did chair, right? So reverse into chair. Good. Keep the knees pointing straight. They might try to come in. So keep them in line with the hips. Good. Sitting back. Pull it up a little tiny bit just so that the knees don't go past the feet. Good. And then where do we start all of this?
From the mountain.
Okay, so into mountain, or you could go up and then back down. How's it feeling so far?
I'm sweating.
You're sweating. Good. Okay, so let me check the time. I don't know what time it is.
Am I gonna be sore tomorrow?
Maybe. It's 7:25. Okay, good. So that was like the warm-up. And yes. So next time, now that you know the names and stuff, it just won't take as long to like do them all because you'll know where you're going. I'll keep practicing at the beginning, making sure that you're aware of where your back and your knees and your hips should be, but eventually you won't even need any of that, and we'll just do it in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. So if you want to, we could do it one more time down the line so that we get to our next position anyways. It leads into it, and you can see if you're understanding when to breathe in and when to breathe out, because I haven't been able to call that as much. Okay, so remember you're breathing with your nose this whole time. So we're just going to take it really nice and easy, just seeing if we can practice the poses and understand the names, because I do want you to do this at least one other time, and I want to make sure you know the words. So, mountain. You're just normal. You're breathing through your nose, in and out, taking a couple of breaths. Okay, and on your inhale, we're going to chair. So inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Use your block if you need. Flat back. Inhale, flat back. Set it up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog.
Oh, that's the one.
Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Sorry, I should have came back here. Inhale, other side, warrior one. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk it up. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair. Here comes our next pose. We're doing twisted chair. So, obviously on offense, by the way, like that was awesome. You already knew like all the words. Did they come to your mind whenever you're doing them? Cool. Okay. So twisted chair, a lot of the things that you're going to be doing, if you think about it, you're going to be like running this way, and all of a sudden you're going to be having to like turn, and like your legs are going this way and your body's facing this way. Obviously, there's a really large twist in your back. So I put a lot of twists in here so that it gets really strong in your core, because have you seen anybody get any back injuries yet in football? So it seems to be pretty common.
It's mostly on the knees.
On the knees? Okay. Interesting.
Well, they'll take care of the ACL a lot.
Yeah, oh, okay. That makes sense. And, you know, that's probably because they're going one way and they're twisting another, and it's like, so, you know how we were working on pushing through the balls of your feet? I imagine that will help, because if you were running and didn't just like dig in and instead had it on the ball of your toe, it could have rotated rather than planted and then ripped. So, and then the same thing for the spine. We want to get it really nice and twisty so that you could literally be running one way and facing the other and everything would be cool. So we're going to do chair twist. So we just ended in chair twist. And I would suggest when you are doing that, how it just lines right back up with the chair and then the twist, you could do one more round. That would give you 4 sun salutation Bs, and that's normally how many I do to get warmed up. Okay? So chair twist, you're in your chair. And you're going to bring your hands like you're praying, and your elbows are like straight out from your wrist. You're going to think of pulling one elbow towards the outside of the opposite leg and revolving and folding. So keep your chair, keep folded at the hips. Yes. So I'm going to show you what the goal, what it will eventually be like. It'll eventually be like so. So you're going to be able to sit down a little bit more because you're going to be lowering the chest towards the seat. So chair. And then fold forward, opposite elbow to opposite knee. Good. And if you can grab it, then you're going to feel it twisting. Good. Breathe a couple times.
Feel my butt.
Yes, in your butt. That makes sense. Make sure it's not pulling the knees together. You're doing good. They're straight ahead. And then bring it back up. Breathe in. Another chair. Arms together. Twist. Good. Good. Knees facing one direction, so make sure. Yep, you see how the foot wanted to turn? Make it straight. Yeah. It might become harder, but that's okay. We'll just go less deep if that starts to happen. And what might be happening? Yes. Okay. Can you feel how one butt cheek is like moving? Square them. And then open the knees. There you go. So it's better stretch and you don't have to move as much, right? Okay, so you're in your chair, then breathe in, breathe out, stand. Okay, so that was twisted chair. Next, tree pose. So we're all twisted out in your spine. You may get a few cracks every so often. The main goal isn't to like ball up into a twist. It's actually to go long and twist. So kind of like if you were a wet towel and you needed to wring it out, you would pull it tight and then wring it, right? You wouldn't just like do this. It wouldn't wring out the water. It would just be a wet towel doing nothing. So you got to elongate it and then twist. Okay. Tree pose. So you're in your mountain pose. Good. And this one you might do next to the wall. So stand by the wall to where your hand could touch the siding if you had them out. To the side of you. To the side, yeah. Yeah, like you're like about to like lean against the wall pretty much. Good. So make sure your shoulder is over your hip, is over your foot. Very good. Okay. So your arms are out. It doesn't have to be out, but we're going to use the wall to help you. You're going to take your right foot and start to lift the weight off of it, planting all of your weight through the base of the left foot, into the heel, into the ball of the toe. Lift your toes if you think you're grabbing on with the toes. Okay, as you're lifting, try not to lean like we would normally do. Instead, just try to fold like a flamingo would fold their leg in and keep the hips nice and even. So it's going to try to lift, push it back down. Okay, so that's just going to be like your little testing ground. Once you know that you're not leaning and lifting, then you're just going to place your foot onto your calf. Eventually, it'll go up your leg onto the thigh. However, we don't want to place it on the knee. So it's just a joint that doesn't bend that way, so we don't want to really try to make it bend that way. So either the calf, which is where I would start, and that's where I'm at, keeping the hips even, turning the knee out a little bit, and then the wall is there to help you balance if you need it. But this is why we're doing it, to help you balance, because how many times will you probably need to catch a ball on one foot? Quite a lot. Now you're going to know how to be a little flamingo on the football field as well. Okay, so you can keep your hands down if you are feeling pretty balanced. And just breathe a few times through your nose. And then let's go to the other side. So, other leg. Finding the ball of your foot and the heel of your foot, keeping the knee facing and the hip facing forward. Make sure it's not twisting either. Holding onto the wall if you need it. Starting to lift the weight out of the other leg like a flamingo. Don't lift, bring it back down. Your core will be super straight. Barely lift. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, as we find it balancing, sink it, lower the hip. It's raised a little tiny bit, so your left hip go a little bit lower.
Like that?
Yes, yes. Can you feel how your abs were trying to like lean away? Pull it back over. Good. And you can use the wall if you need. Good. And if you're feeling like you're not really having any control, try bending the knee slightly so that you can use your quad to like steer you. It will help pull you in the direction that you are wanting to go. You should feel as though your calf were being pressed in by your foot, but also that your foot is being pressed into by your calf. So rather than just this happening, it should also be this happening.
Right.
Does that make sense? Okay, so just a couple more breaths. Balancing in tree. Make sure everything else up high is nice and straight, relaxed. And then bring it out. Okay. So that's the whole field on one side. So we're like halfway done with our lap. Let's see what time it is.
What time are you at to leave?
I think I got here at 7:50. So we have 10 minutes. And actually my phone is dying, so for everyone, the last section was going to be Breath of Fire, which if you want to do that on your own, go for it. But hopefully you enjoyed this quick little warm-up for football. We'll do it again next week, maybe. Namaste.